I think you'll get a kick out of this. You remember the song Fergalicious? Well, there's nothing like when you rendition it to be Kirkalicious after you call in an airstrike that blows up a bridge, but you hot mic it across the squadron net while the aircraft on station are part of that net.
Welcome to the Recalibrated. I'm your host, Meade Kincke, and I'm here to take us through the journey of being in the service, transitioning out, and what today looks like. Our guest, John Kerkhoff, began his service in the United States Air Force before transitioning to the Army, serving 20 years and leaving as First Sergeant. John led a recon and surveillance squadron of over 200 soldiers, including 40 NCOs and 3 officers supporting combat operations around the world. Today, he is founder and CEO of Frago 22, building powerful solutions for veterans to succeed in work and life. John, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
There we go. So let's begin with the why. You know, that little ticky detail. What was the initial draw for you to that go, to the Air Force, and then why did you switch to the Army?
Everyone always wants to know why you switch branches. Well, it makes sense because usually you go from the Army to the Air Force, and here I am doing it backwards. But that's what we do, right? So actually, it started in high school. I was kind of flirting with the idea of joining, and it was just kind of on the fence about it. And actually, when I graduated high school, I had made a deal with my mom that I would not join. I would do a year of college first before making a decision. I was not the best kid in school. That whole mantra, P's get A's, but C's get degrees, kind of was floating with that. And so I ended up going to community college right out of high school, but then 9/11 happened. So I said, nope, mom, deal's off, got to go. And I was talking to recruiters. I was originally actually supposed to join the Marines, and because I did all the ASVAB and stuff with the Marines, and due to we'll just say a disagreement with my Marine recruiter, I ended up joining the Air Force, and went there, was a metal worker for the Air Force for a little bit, was having a good time. However, the job in the Air Force didn't promote, and the Air Force started downsizing. And they said, hey, look, you could get out, clean slate. You could join the reserves. Well, that's kind of when the height of the war was spinning back up. I had deployed with an Army unit in the Air Force to support some missions out there. And when I came back, the Air Force they launched this thing called Blue to Green. And if you transitioned to the Army, they would match any bonus the Army gave you to switch. And so I said, well, if I'm not going to go anywhere in the Air Force, I'll go join the Army. And I ended up switching branches and picked to be a scout and stuck with it since.
How about that? So that's just hilarious. You're like, well, this isn't working. We'll go over here. What's with this? Okay, sure. Why not? Like, you just kind of sound like a balloon floating. You go like, well, this seems like the opportune time to do things. Oh, I love that. I love it. An opportunist is not a bad thing to have. So let's say about this way. What about like humble beginnings as far as being an infantryman?
Well, I will say this, switching branches from the Air Force to the Army humbles you real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Especially when you're going from like a maintenance job to a straight combat job. And so, there was a lot of hard lessons I had to learn, and there was a lot of nuances between the branches. So those who've been in the Air Force, pretty much anyone who outranks you was sir or ma'am.
Sure.
As for the Army, sir, ma'am is reserved for officers. And so I had this habit, having been in the Air Force 3 years, where anyone who outranked me, I was just like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And I'm not an officer. I work for the Bob. Like, help.
I have said this so many times, and so many stories of exactly that, where you go, listen, if you start calling an NCO sir, you will get balked at exactly what you said of, I work for my living. This is not. And especially like people, very polite culture. Like when you talk like Southern United States, everyone is sir, ma'am. Like that's a normal thing. So you can kind of get into that thing where you just have it as a thing of being polite, a proper conversation. You go, hello, sir, and you go, ooh, no, pull it back. Jesus.
Yeah, but that
was so funny.
I had to have that lesson beat out of me a lot.
It's not exactly natural. Again, like it's a normal thing of respect, and you go, yeah, but you are going to feel respect in a different way, good sir.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
You will respect me while you do these push-ups until I'm tired.
Understood. So as far as the journey from that to quality assurance evaluator sounds a bit of a journey. How did we get from, say, point A to B to Z or something in between?
So actually, the quality assurance evaluator I was part of the armor school. So those who know the Army structure, a scout, we fall under armor branch. And so it was towards the end of my career. I had already put in the retirement packet, but I had a while to go. So the armor school, I was already at Fort Benning, and the armor school's like, hey, you were a first sergeant for an OSET unit. You also were a drill sergeant for an OSET unit once upon a time. We're revamping the way we teach scouts, and we're going to change basic training. Why don't you come to the armor school, and you could help us do that while you're writing out the time to get out. And that's kind of how that happened.
Gotcha.
It was more the Army saw an opportunity and was like, well, we don't want you to hold this first sergeant slot as you get out in the OSET unit. So we're just going to let you go to the armor school and change the way the armor trains.
Well, that kind of steps on the second part of the question I had of like, was this something that you chose, or was this something you were led to? Because usually it's kind of a blend of both.
It was a blend of both, because they asked me if I would be willing to do that, and I didn't want to hold that slot for someone who's well on their way to wanting to full-blown career. I had to turn down the Sergeant Major Academy. I had made the OML. I had to turn that down to drop my retirement packet. So I'm like, I don't want to hold someone else's career back just for me to write out a time.
How altruistic of you.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Or it's because it was an easier job.
Look, six of one, half a dozen of the other. You take it how you like it.
Yeah.
So, like you, amongst some wonderful characters, have joined us on the weekly gathering Mission Recalibration, and we've kind of gone over some stories where the theme, whether we want it to be or not, is I'm so glad that a smartphone was not around, present to record this. And I'll just ask, like, what's like the funniest or even like just most ridiculous moment that just bam comes to mind, and you go, oh, thank goodness no one had a smartphone.
Well, I have one in particular, and it's not necessarily a smartphone moment. It's more or less, it's glad it wasn't recorded moment.
Fair.
And I think you'll get a kick out of this. You remember the song Fergalicious?
Early 2000s. Yeah.
You know, from Fergie? Yep.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like when you rendition it to be Kerkalicious after you call in an airstrike that blows up a bridge, but you hot mic it across the squadron net while the aircraft on station are part of that net.
Wow. Wow. Yes. This is like, that's one of those things like when you talk aviation and exactly that, the hot mic, and you go, wait, I wasn't supposed to say, oh my goodness, oh, that's too much ice, oh, don't tell them, don't, oh no. And you go, that was keyed open. You go, no, oh, no. Everyone just calm down. Put on the captain voice.
Yeah, but I was singing, like, and I'm not a singer, right? So you don't want me singing, but here I am, I'm like, we confirmed the mission, everything good, battle damage assessment, and here I am on the hot mic. I'm Kerkalicious. Yeah,
Only a
everyone.
little bit of kind of sociopathic tendencies. It does smack of a good scene in a film or a telly show where you go like, button, like.
Yep, she knows that whole have body awareness and know where your hand mic button is and make sure you're not pressing against it. And yeah, good times.
It was slightly omitted in this particular instance. Let's just say it that way. Wow. Okay. So
Yes.
that, I mean, that counts for sure. And I guess kind of like fast forwarding, what drove your decision to retire? Like, were you like nearing and just going like, oh, I'm just done, or like was this planned, or somewhere in between there?
So it was actually I'd kind of been flirting with the idea a little bit, and a lot of it was all my mentors were always like, "Hey, listen, don't try to rush it, don't try to force it. You will know when it's time. It will like hit you like a bag of bricks, right?" And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay." So I'm just kind of doing my thing, and like COVID happened, and just the way things were shifting at Fort Benning and basic training and all that. And finally, one day I woke up, I'm like, "No, we're done. We're absolutely done." And I walked in the next day, typed up my stuff, and I submitted it. It was like
Wow.
some of the stories, like, so you remember the whole COVID thing, right? Just around the
Sure.
world. Well,
Lost its mind.
yeah, the base didn't have enough masks to give these recruits coming in.
Sure.
But then I'm being held responsible that these guys don't have masks. And I'm like, what do you want from me? Like, it got to this point where these kids were getting their Charlie Browns, a brand new pack of those brown, whitey tighties, but they're brown,
Uh-huh.
and they would cut them open and then create a mask out of one of them just so like people would leave us alone. And
Wow.
so it's just you sort of wake up one day, it's like we're done.
Yeah, like what's that old phrase of, a lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine, where you go, listen, if you wanted this, that's your show, fine, but you didn't provide us with any of this, so
Yeah,
great.
and it wasn't just me having that. Like all the first sergeants, we were all having this battle. Our sergeant majors were having this battle, and it was
Wow.
just sort of like, if no one in the world could get these masks, what makes you think that we're just gonna poof? And yes, we unicorn and rainbow every day, but come on, man.
Yeah, that wow. Sounds sadly accurate. That whole thing of the joke but not so joke of military intelligence, and you go, and we're here. We're full
Yes.
circle. So that, yeah, it kind of sounds like a weird bad breakup, like where the end of it, and you go, and then like she burnt all my clothes, and you go, yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
good. We're good.
She tried to set me on fire, and that's grounds for breaking up. Yes.
Well, was it the first or the second time?
I mean, maybe the
Yeah,
80th time.
there
We're
we
talking about
there we
remaining
go. See, now we're talking. Oh, so getting into a little bit more recent, what was after you got out? Like, what was the first moment you went, okay, civilian life is going to be a little bit different?
Uh, well, I already knew that ahead of time.
Hmm.
The benefit was being in that QA office. I was already working with civilians, so I was already kind of getting that taste of it.
Hmm.
But reality struck actually probably 6 months out when I was out already. I had been working a job with a communications company building data
Mm-hmm.
centers, and kind of just seeing how that was. And I was like, yeah, I was putting myself in this mindset like, hey, this is just new. I have to get used to it. It's something completely different. Just like when I went into the military, I kind of had that same mentality, right? Just I have to
Sure.
learn, I have to understand, I have to grow. But then just the way they were operating and like as a culture, as a corporate culture, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is stupid. Like, yeah, the military was stupid, but this is even worse. Like, at least in the military, we all embrace the suck together. Out here, not only is everyone embracing the suck, but everyone's making it worse for everyone else
Oh,
because now
wow.
they want to beat it into. I'm like, yeah,
I get it. Yeah, that's one of those things that's so funny because, like when I coach and otherwise, I play both sides of it. So I know what, corporate looks like. I also know what military looks like. I know what, intelligence looks like. And you go, Yeah, they do operate ever so slightly different. Like we can talk about things like even just timeliness. That when you talk corporate, it doesn't exist
Hmm.
in that thing of we go like, well, we need to do this, and this is the agreed upon time, and so on and so forth. Like there's fluidity in this and all of that, but you can have things where you just like it gets ghosted, or this gets shoved, or like, oh, someone's on holiday, we'll get back in 2 weeks, and you go, okay, now I'm losing my mind. 2 weeks? What are we doing? Like, I have a feeling there are a lot of head exploding stories that are popping up in your mind. Like, no, this isn't okay. So
Actually,
what? Oh, go ahead.
most of those stories are just like when leadership would do that, like, well,
Hmm.
this, and then when they would come back, they're like, well, how come this hadn't happened? Well, you weren't here, and here's everything I did to make this happen. Well, you need to. No, 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 this ain't a me thing no more. I was here doing my job. Like,
Fair play.
you gave me zero support, and so it's no longer my level of concern. It's now your level of concern to figure it out. And let me tell you something, corporate America hates when you say that.
Well, the thing about it is, it's the mindset of either like a lot of times, not always, but the either what would be called micromanaging, which is like forceful handholding. Let's just call it is what it is, or the like you're a big lad, you go do your thing, and you can have it go either way. Where I feel like it always works well when you hire adults and you say, here are the keys. I hired you because you're an expert. You go do this thing.
Mhm.
Now, if you need help, you know where to find me. You need to come and chat. You need to ask me for what you need, and I'll do what I can to make certain that you already have it ahead of time. But, you adjust as things go. But exactly what you're describing is the falling apart of like, well, I want both of them at the same time. And you go, well, you can't. You can either
Mhm.
be with me or you can not, but you don't get to split the middle.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But I will
mm,
say, because I don't want to make you seem all doom and gloom. I did have
sure.
some really good leadership within the corporate culture, right? So it was,
Gotcha.
those individual really good leaders who were like, hey, I got it. I'll be able to help you. I won't be here, but if you need help, hit me up on the line or
Gotcha.
go to these resources first. Here's how you burn out your resources before you come to me. So I had a few good ones like that, and others were just
Nice.
like, what do you mean that it's daylight at 9 o'clock in the morning? Like, did I confuse you?
Okay, so usually what happens is the sun, it rises in one part, and then we'll get to it. There's this thing called photon, like maybe you've heard of it.
Sounds like you're making that up.
Like I have been known to ramble, this. So just fabrication is what it is.
Fabricating.
Yeah. So with the things that translated well and maybe some that didn't, like what helped you adjust?
Well, at least for me,
Hmm.
coming in as a project manager and stuff, the one thing I pieced together really quick is that actually the military and the civilian culture do talk the same thing, just in a different
Hmm.
vocabulary. But in the end of the day, and I know you've heard me say this before, me, it's
Sure.
people, time, and money, right?
Hmm.
Whether you're in corporate America, whether you're in the military, like everyone who's above you wants to know about people, time, and money. Like,
Sure.
what did you do? How did you do it? Why did you do it? What did it cost? And as long as you can answer those questions, like usually people will leave you alone or like, oh, hey, that was the wrong priority. Like, well, you told me everything's a priority, so I made this my priority.
Yes, my wife will say this, and it's absolutely accurate. Like if everything is important, then nothing is important. If everyone are important, then no one are important. And that's the whole like kind of signal to noise ratio. If you go, yeah, we need to prioritize this, and some things are going to bump up as they come, and some things are going to diminish, and that's fine. But you can't just say like everything is red, and you go, that's not true. This is like you have one thing that is like stressful or affecting everyone of this, but you need to focus on that thing, get it out of the way, or maybe, kind of play the other end of it of like, okay, knock out some simple things, and then that'll lead up to the big one because otherwise you can't tackle it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole, the way I describe it is it's like It's like a Bob roll. It's not like in Hollywood and cinema and all of that where like one guy punches at a time. That's not what happens. It all comes and jumps on you and tries to smash you with a chair and all of that. So if you can pull it into a line where only one thing can kind of go at you at once, then you can pick it off in bits and pieces and so on, and it sort of assembles itself.
Yeah, actually, one thing I took from the military, revamped it for corporate culture, but it's still essentially the same thing. Is my troops to task.
Okay.
So those who've, I'm sure you've heard of it, right? Where you could put a by name for every soldier you have. Where are they at? What are they doing? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when I actually brought that to the civilian side, just said, okay, hey, here's all my projects, here's all my people, and here's what everyone is doing at any one given time.
Sure.
When I did have leadership coming up to me, be like, well, this is the priority and this is the priority, I would be able to pull that out and be like, okay, hey, here's all my people, here's what they're doing. If you want me to prioritize this new thing, where do I pull that from here? So I could pull these guys off this project to do that, but then you lose this, or I could pull these guys, or I can move this. And then, of course, I have to make it make sense to them, people, time, money. So here's the impact. When I pull these people to go on here, this is what you sacrifice on this end. And then when you start seeing their little light bulbs turn on, they're like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how this works.
It wasn't that important. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. And
or
that's the other thing.
Maybe it was. Maybe they're like, hey, this is no longer port and pull. Hey, that's cool. Put it out in
That's
writing.
one of those things. Well, yeah, like, and the thing is, like, you already know, if you have someone that like they're deeply invested in this particular work and so on, and then you switch contacts like huge, it's kind of a weird sense of amnesia where you go like, hold on, what am I working on? What is this thing? So it's not going to be some weird machine where you just drop it in and it works. That's not how humans operate. So you need to weigh all of those against it of like, okay, if this is actually red and we need to do this now, fine, but understand what it comes with, It just gives the whole picture. So I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And operating in chaos is kind of what you do, so you just make it make sense.
Okay, let's do one last one. What did you need to unlearn? Let's say it that way.
Life.
Small answer. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's so the biggest reality of it all is when you get out. My whole adult life was the military, minus like the 3 months of community college I did before I had joined. Like I had no benchmark or anchor to what adult life was, right? And I love the military because they put people in charge of multi-million-dollar machines that are made to kill and maim and destroy. But the military on the very same hand says you're in charge of all this crap and saving people's lives and taking people's lives, but you can't have a stove in your barracks room because we don't trust you. You're going to burn the place down. Like, right. And so when you run a military career that way, you get out and everyone's like, you're an adult, figure it out. We don't care what the hell you're doing. Just show up to work. And you're like, wait, what do you mean you don't care that I'm taking PTO and you don't care where I'm going? Like, So it was adjusting.
It's so much that, like, I've talked about this, and I know you share the same experience where with military, and it doesn't matter what branch, what nation, anything like that, it's regimented. Who you're answering to, who are answering to you, and you know what time you need to be at places, and things very much, at least, should kind of work like a Swiss clock. And that whole thing of what I'll call greenfield, which I deal in quite often, where you go, no, just do it. No, there's no manual. And you go, what do you mean there's no manual? I think John's head just exploded. You go like, I get to just make stuff up? Sure. Why not?
No, you can't just make stuff up. There's a process to this. All right, what's that process? I don't know. No one's written it down. Just do it.
Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's why we like life, right?
Yeah, no, it's true though.
Very true.
So
very true.
A small interjection, like if you all in the audience loved what you're hearing as much as you loved what we're doing, please smash that subscribe button. And getting to the now, that small detail, like what is your mission today? What is the mission now?
So the mission right now, it's I still take care of people. I love taking care of people at the individual level to an organization level. I do a lot of stuff building communities for veterans to help them get that mental health services they need, but also to kind of revamp the way they transition out. They get vocation training, they get skill sets. Um, one of the things you start to see when people transition out, there's an identity crisis, and a lot of veterans either grudgingly continue on doing the work they did in the military, but for the civilian side. So I use HR for example, right?
Sure.
They were an HR rep in the military. That's what they know. So they get out and they think that's what they got to stay in.
Sure.
And then they do it grudgingly. They absolutely hate life. They hate their job, right? And it creates a problem. But then to show them that there is a way you could actually not have to do that when you get out of the military, you have other options. And it's not as bad starting over as you think it is, and kind of breaking that stigma and really helping the veterans. But my favorite thing is these communities we build, everything from affordable housing, the Voc school, the mental health facilities that go with it, and just taking care of people. Oh, and on the back end, taking care of businesses that hire these people, because they want quality people who are going to do great work, and that's what veterans do. But you also want them to stay because your organization has the right culture that veterans will thrive in. So we make it
There
a
we go.
win-win situation, and that's how I found my new mission in life, and that's what I roll with.
I love that. And it's not. I've said this a lot, but it's not like things like the VA aren't bursting at the seams and need help to alleviate some of this. So that, I mean, it's very noble work that you're doing, and it's something that needs a spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is the sense of camaraderie, the sense of this, and the stack. We stick together. I get that, and I've said it, and I have a feeling you'll agree, but like getting out of the service, it kind of feels like a weird miniature death. You go like, what do I do now? Who am I now? What is this thing? And even that, getting into like, okay, well, you could be on a completely opposite end of the globe, and you come back and you go, so who are my friends? What do I do? Who do I chat to? Where am I? And
Mm-hmm.
it's disorienting. And you can have it go well, you can have it go really poorly, and it really does need a big focus on, okay, let's get you back with people and get you incorporated and have you doing the things that you enjoy doing. Like one of stories of mine, like dealing with things like X Delta, and you talk about, oh well, they were in HR. Well, as it turns out, particular individuals that are ex-operators, like, well, what are you going to do? Probably run security. But some of those guys are built for that. Although not everyone want to get out of the military and roll with a sidearm. That's not,
Mm-hmm.
they don't always want to do that,
Yeah.
So I love that you're offering something where you go like, hey, we can look at a different angle. We can figure out something different for you.
Yeah. And you know what though? The one thing I say, and I tell people I coach and work with all the time, I was like, if you don't believe it can happen, I'm the perfect example that it can happen, right? Like I was a combat job. My first job out of there is data centers, right? What do those two things have in common? Absolutely nothing, right?
Nothing.
So if a Muldoon like me could do it, imagine what a smart person can do who's like dedicated and able to get going, right? And I mean, your Delta guys, like if you Googled it, I'm pretty sure if you Google their MOS, it's going to come up with police, security, and author, because apparently everyone in Delta Force and Navy SEALs have to write a book about everything that say all the things.
Well, that's kind of the same thing of when you talk about like in technology, like the CISO crowd, and you go like, well, what are they required to do? Get out, find something corporate, and get a PhD. And you go, why is that the requirements? And you go, someone scribbled it down on a napkin somewhere.
But that's what everyone else did. So therefore, that's what I must know.
Exactly.
No.
It's true though.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep. But I tell you what, though, there's some really cool ideas working with some other vets like we have, just to help that culture shift, that mindset shift, right? Because maybe you've experienced it when you got out, right? You did have that, like, here's my service and this is how I identify. However, I know that's not all me, but I
Sure.
don't know what it means to be on this side of the fence. So, imagine if like there was that program that existed that says, hey, I'm going to transition you properly, right? We talk about the military having their transition programs, but in reality, like if yours was like mine, Here's 395 slides with all the resources you might potentially need, but you won't need them all, but we don't know which ones. You're like, what just happened? And
You kind of went to the quote from my wife again of like, everything is important, nothing is important. And you go, great. What if this is relevant to me? And you go like, probably 3 slides. But you get to guess which ones. Take a guess.
Look, we're going to treat this like the way the IRS treats taxes. We know what you owe us, we think, but it's up to you to figure it out, and we hope you get it right.
And if you don't, we'll bark at you, and in a very, very loud fashion. Which one is this?
You and send you an evil letter.
Which one? Not telling. Not telling. Not telling.
Why?
Oh, okay. Great. So let's do it this way. What advice can you give for veterans like currently in transition?
So always find your mentor. Even if you don't know where to start, always start with ACP, American Corporate Partners. You get a free year, right, as a mentee. So they will hook you up. You get that free year. Talk to people who are already out, and kind of, I think the best advice I could give, especially for those who are unsure what they're going to do, don't start with the job, start with your location. Because I think that's one of the more common destroyers of a person's transition is they're so focused on the job and not where they actually want to end up. So they end up picking a job somewhere, the first job out the gate, and just like, all right, cool, I'm stable. But now they're in a location they don't want to be in or absolutely hate. And it starts this spiral where now it's like, well, I don't want to be here. I'm miserable and this and that. And then I got to find something else. And you start job hopping and you still haven't ended up where you want it to be. So if you have a good support structure, whether it's family, whether it's, just other veterans, find out where you want to go first and then start the job search from there.
Gotcha.
Because the other thing is true that you may want to do something very specific, but if it doesn't exist where you want to be, there's a trade-off.
Sure.
Because not every job is everywhere. So
that's a well said.
There.
Let's say on this one, what's something that you would say that if you could like just drop it into people's minds, like just the kind of the zeitgeist, the populace, the civilians, what do you want them to know about veterans now?
We're normal people too.
I love that.
We're just trying to do good things, and we're trying to help everyone out. We're just not here to run your life and destroy things, and just me, but
just you.
No,
at least you know your strengths.
We're normal people like anyone else. We have our stories. We like to share some of them. There's some we don't want to share, and it's just we're here to help. And stop thinking of yourself, jerk.
I love that. Okay. What is, and this is a completely different avenue, but equally as wonderful.
I love it.
Like a film or a telly show or something that is just, it's so ridiculous that you go, wow, like that it's just one of the funniest things ever. Or it's so like they just got it painfully accurate. You go like, no, that's what it tastes like. Like what's something, and you can have many, like what's something that comes to mind?
Ooh. So something like that's on TV or a movie?
Television. It could be a film. Anything that comes to mind.
I don't know. I kind of default on Super Troopers. Like every time, there's just something about Super Troopers
it's so ridiculous.
But you're like, why am I watching this? I know why I'm watching this. I take that back. I'm gonna rewind. There's one that beats it.
Okay.
Office Space.
Both painfully accurate in their own weird ways. And the thing about it is they're caricatures of life, but not like, okay, so you made the chin bigger and the nose bigger and you go, but like, it still kind of looks like that though. Like,
Well, I mean, I think even today, right, the Office Space still holds true to just how corporate runs.
Sure.
Right. And it's just very like, you're in these cubicle farms and things are monotone. It's like, I need you to come in on Saturday. That'd be great. Like, well, and that whole like how he goes home and he's just miserable and he wants to relax. And
hey, Peter, man, you see this on Channel 4? Like, no, do you think that translates to both camps of civilian, corporate, and military?
Absolutely.
There we
Absolutely.
go.
I think it fits the bill for all walks of life, right? And the characters, right? 'Cause
Something.
they also get the personalities in there just spot on of how different people are.
So how about this? Is there a particular like colonel in mind or something when you think of Lumberg? Like you're like, oh Christ, I know that guy. I know that guy.
I'm actually going to tell you a story, and I hope he doesn't see. Actually, I hope he does see this.
Just don't name names. It's
I
you can.
won't name names. However, it'll be easy to deduce who I'm talking about for those who know. So actually, here, when I say the Army's got joke, the Army has jokes. So when I was
Okay.
a drill sergeant at Benning, I had my, at the time, battalion commander, right?
Okay.
And this is at the time, Undercover Boss was a up and popular show.
Hmm.
So we're talking 2011, right?
Okay.
I kid you not, my battalion commander looked and spoke with the same eloquence and everything like Obama.
Okay.
So the running joke was, oh, we're on Undercover Boss, and this is really Obama, President Obama. And he's gonna be like, "Oh, guys, I just want to see how you do." You're right. Again, so that was my time as a drill sergeant. Well, we're gonna fast forward when I'm a first sergeant back at Fort Benning towards the end of my career. Now my brigade commander, again, we're back in basic training on the same base in the same area, is the same guy.
As you do.
Yeah, him and I didn't always see eye to eye, but he was my Lumberg, right? Like, oh, so okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to come in and brief my command staff. Okay.
Oh, he sounds like great fun. That's why we don't invite him to play.
Yeah, super intelligent guy, but man, I'm like, him and I just we couldn't mesh well.
Like all I can think is, you know, the feeling of like when you have bubble gum and you chew it and like the flavor just goes away and you go like, it sounds like what this guy he kind of is to be around. You go like, you're wonderfully efficient. Ow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like that zebra gum. You're like, okay, and then like 2 minutes later, you're like, I'm over it.
I mean, goodness, that
flavor.
leaves the flavor instantly, and you go like, no, it's just wallpaper paste. Fantastic. How did we do this?
Yeah.
Goodness. No, that's a throw-in.
Like I said, great, nice guy, very smart, very, very intelligent. Just him and I just didn't agree on a lot of things.
And that's okay. That's what, look, variety is the flavor of life, spice of life, something in there.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Listen, I don't want to sound mean, but I would equate him to British food.
Well, here's the thing. British food can be absolutely wretched or brilliant. And I don't like, some of it I feel like is kind of a grudge match. Like, you know, when you talk about like working class food and like East End of London and so on and all of that, like we have odd things like jellied eels. And I don't know anyone who would say, yes, this sounds excellent. Why? No, it's aspics. It's the whole thing of like meat in gelatine, and you go, did I do something wrong? Do you not like me? Is this like, because that's a punishment. You go, the texture alone, why would you do this? I just don't get it. And then, you know, we have wonderful pastries and everything else. So you go, it swings both ways. Mm-hmm. But I think we can equate that to jellied eels. And I don't care one bit if I've bothered anyone by saying so, because no, pie and mash is delicious, but leave the eels to be.
Yeah, leave the eels. And the beans and bread.
And people will also argue, and this is a funny thing. They're like, "Yo, well, you know, eels are fish, don't you?" And I'm going, see, this is why we don't like invite you around for pints, because you're that guy. Don't be that guy.
You're that guy.
You know an eel's a fish, don't you?
The tuna of the sea, right?
Tuna of the sea. Chicken of the sea. Oh my Christ. Yep, that's a name. Why not? Someone came up with that.
Isn't that how it works?
Oh yeah. So
actually, here, I'll give you a funny story because it's very, very related to what you just said.
Oh, do tell.
So a good friend of mine, my brother from another mother, right? Me and this guy grew up together pretty much our whole lives. We joined the Air Force together. Like that's how long we've known each other, been friends.
Wow.
Well, one day we were having an argument. So there's this vegetarian girl. There's this, vegetarian, vegan girl, whatever. She was talking about fish and fish being meat. right?
Sure.
And she wouldn't eat it because fish was a meat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of having this argument about what is fish and if it's a meat or not a meat or this and that. So my good friend, calls his brother. So at the time, his brother was the smartest person we knew education wise.
Okay.
He had a college degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he calls him up. Hey, Will, we're having this discussion. Is fish a meat? And this guy, I kid you not, without skipping a beat, is like, no, fish is poultry.
I think we all just collectively had a stroke just now.
Yeah. Will, how could fish be poultry? He's like, oh, wait, no, hang on. And then he just hangs up.
So, I mean, this is a painfully accurate point. If like you go, well, how do you assess intelligence? And you're like, well, they have a PhD. They must be very clever. And you go, if that's the yardstick that you're measuring this against, life is going to be rough, lads. Life is going to be rough.
Now, in fairness, we did come to find out Will had been drinking and was probably not in the right mind to be answering said questions, but...
Fair. I don't know, though. I mean, if you're putting me to is fish poultry, and I failed that particular litmus test, maybe I'm not equipped.
We just want to know if fish was meat. He said it's poultry.
Poultry. Ladies and gentlemen, fish is poultry. You heard it here.
You heard it here. You heard it first. He was bound to be a Marine.
Oh my goodness! And we're not starting a flame war at all. Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for.
No, I obviously, much like myself, the wallflower.
I mean, hey, look, on our American MREs, on the heater pack, those who have seen it, it says, right, lean this against a rock or something, right? You know why the oak or something exists there.
It's true. It's true. No, it's a thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully the thing is not your leg, because guess what? Those packets get hot.
What?
Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
And actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of a show called Red versus Blue.
The Halo based thing. Yeah.
The first 3 seasons nailed the military spot on.
The arguments in that were like everyone are razor sharp, but all pointed in different directions. And you go like, if you would just face the same way in the metaphorical sense, you get so much accomplished.
Yeah. But why would you do that? Because that would make sense, and you cannot do that in the military.
And now, like, see, that's the thing. If we're making perfume and it was like, oh, the military, like, I think we just bottled it up of like, oh, if I could just get all of you lined up. That's just it. That's just in a bottle.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming, John. And kind of finally, for people looking to connect, where do they need to find you to cause trouble?
Always LinkedIn, because there's no better place to cause trouble than on LinkedIn. There's too many serious people on there who, yes, they're lost. They can't find their own body parts. So LinkedIn's a good one. Just look up my name. Instagram as well. And my handle is Comical Man Beast. You can't mess that up.
As you would expect, no less.
No less, right? Because when you pick something up at 12 years old, you just stick with it.
This is oddly personal details. Thank you for sharing, John. We also are deducing where your first address is and the first dog's name. So this is excellent. Yeah.
Oh, hey, that weird 3-digit code on that wacky 3-digit code on the back of my card.
I got it.
You guys need that one too, right?
Not so much, no. Well, for all of you enjoying this again, you know where to find us, and we have plenty more episodes coming up soon. Cheers all.
Every private would always ask me, Drill Sergeant K, is it true you caught a private on fire because he stabbed you?